out to the left hand side you can see what is the Aran Islands. Inishmore, Inishman and Inisheer. Some of the largest islands you'll find off this west coast of Ireland. You know, today these regions, or these islands, are what is called Gaeltacht regions. You know, over there in the distance you can see Connemara. That's a very clear day to see that, guys, let me tell you. Right, but that's Connemara in the distance. You know, and that, you know, these are regions where people choose to speak Irish before they speak English. There were regions that were established by the Irish government after it gained independence from Britain in the 1930s and 40s. The regions, especially the western peninsula of Ireland, were designated areas of Irish speaking. It's a ways and means of keeping the language alive. You know, there's 28% of people today speak fluent Irish in Ireland. Most of them live within the Gaeltacht regions. So if you went to the Gaeltacht, you would, you know, if you speak English to them, they would probably speak English back. You know English as well, but if you speak Irish, they'll speak the Irish to you. When they're in among their own homes, they speak Irish to each other all the time. You know, English would be their second language. You know, and other languages, mainly those two that I'm talking about. You know, it's a ways and means of keeping the Irish language alive, because it was a dying language because of the penal code and the penal laws that went on. You know, Irish people weren't allowed to speak their language. You know, so it was these people that kept the language alive. You know, it's them people out on those islands that we have to thank for keeping that tradition, that culture, that language and literature of Ireland alive. The mythology, you know, the myths of the salmon of knowledge and Fionn McCool burning his wee thumb and tasting the salmon of knowledge. The legends of Fionn McCool building the Giant's Causeway all the way over to Scotland. The legends of Diarmid and Grania eloping from Fionn McCool. The legends of the children of Lear and the swans that were turned in, or the children of Lear who were turned into swans for 600 years and spent 600 years out here in the west of Ireland, 600 years in the north of Ireland, and 600 years in the lakes in the centre of Ireland. You know, also the legends of what is the great Cuchulainn and the Battle of Cooley Bay. You know, or the legends of the land of Tiranoke. You know, out there beyond those islands, they say there is a magical place. Across that horizon, they say there's a magical island they call the land of Tiranoke. That is why they say that many years ago, when Fionn McCool and Oisin were sitting here in the western shore of Ireland, gazing out into that Atlantic Ocean, all of a sudden, this galloping horse came galloping across those waves over towards the south land of Ireland. Upon its back was a beautiful princess. When she arrived up, she says, "My name is Princess Niamh, and I have come from the land of Tiranoke. I have heard the great wonderful poetry of the warrior Prince Oisin, and I have come to take him back to my magical land." Now when Oisin seen this magical girl, he fell madly in love with her. He had no hesitation where he ran over. He jumped onto the back of that magical horse and he wrapped his arms around her to head for the land of Tiranoke. But before they could leave, the giant Fionn McCool reached forward. He grabbed the mane of that horse before they left, and he looked up at his son Oisin and he says, "Oisin, you must realise that it is said in this land of Ireland, anyone that has galloped across that horizon in search of that magical place has never again been seen in the land of Ireland." So sitting upon that magical horse, Prince Oisin looked down at his father, Fionn McCool, and promised his father, he says, "Father, I promise you I will be the first to return." And they galloped off. It is said that they galloped across those waves for days upon days and nights upon nights until they reached this magical place. Now when Oisin seen this magical land, it was like a fertile, rich land like he had never seen before. The land was rich and fertile. The flower and the fauna was in abundance. It was full of peace, love and joy. It was summer and spring mixed together. Everyone was so full of youth and young. It was indeed what they called the land of Tiranoke. It was a land where the lion and the lamb would lie side by side and the valleys would flow rich with milk and honey. And it was that Oisin loved this magical place. He fell in love deeply with the Princess Niamh, and they got the blessing then from the King Angus and Queen Edane, and they became one. But Oisin, no matter how long he lived in this magical place, always remembered his promise to his father. He knew that he had promised his father to return to the land of Ireland someday, and after living in this magical place for so many years, he decided he must return. So he went to the stables of Tiranoke, he saddled up that magical white horse, and he was ready to head for the land of Ireland. But before he had a chance to leave that magical place, Princess Niamh came to the stables of Tiranoke, met with Oisin in the stables, and she says, Oisin, there's one thing you must do and promise me, that is, if you return to the land of Ireland in search of your father, you must not get off that magical horse. For it is said in the land of Tirnanog, anyone that has ever walked upon those magical soils of Tirnanog can never again touch Irish soil. So looking down from the back of that magical horse, he promised his princess he would remain upon it, and he galloped off. It is said that he galloped again across those waves for days upon days and nights upon nights, until he reached this west coast of Ireland once more. Now when Oisin came into Ireland, he could indeed see that it was a land that was rough and rugged, a land that the soils were just not as rich as soil as Tirnanog. He could see that the people were small and old and hard living. He could see that they searched for happiness, but in a land that was cold and wet. It was indeed what they had called the land of Hibernia. Now Oisin searched for his father Fionn McCool. You know, he'd galloped north, south, east and west of this little island, and he searched everywhere. Every valley, nook and cranny, he searched for this giant Fionn McCool, but he couldn't find his father anywhere. It was only, they say, when Oisin came to the bottom of this hillside below, that when he came here and he met with two old men that were in the corner of a field trying to move a massive rock. When he trod over in that magical horse, he arrived up and he says, my name is Oisin. I am the warrior son of Fionn McCool, and I've returned from the land of Tirnanog in search of my father. And so the two men looked up in astonishment at Oisin and said, this could never be. Sure, Fionn McCool has been dead for hundreds of years. Oisin then realised that for every year he would spend in that magical place, hundreds of years would pass in Ireland. And saddened that his father was gone, Oisin decided he must fulfil his promise to his princess. Knowing that his father's name would live on in this land of Ireland forever, he decided he must return to Tirnanog. But he was happy that his father was a legend of this land of Ireland. Hundreds of years after he was gone, his name was still on the lips of men, and it was that he decided to return to Tirnanog. But before he left, Oisin decided to offer his help to the two old men that were trying to move that rock. Being the son of a giant, he knew he could lean down from the horse and grab the rock, and as he would lean down and grab the rock, he would not touch the soil. But it was said that Oisin leant down from the horse, holding on to the saddle. As he did, the saddle strap broke, and Oisin tumbled from the horse. Tumbling down to the ground, he touched the soil, and as he touched that Irish soil, the aging process began. His hair grew long and grey, his beard grew long and grey, and Oisin became the older man he was always meant to be. It was then, it is said, that Oisin, even in his last attempt to fulfil his promise to his princess that lived back on that magical place, he jumped up from the ground once more. He ran over, he jumped onto the back of that magical horse, grabbing it by its mane. The horse galloped off. Oisin jumped onto its back and he galloped across those fields, and it was said that the horse was seen to have jumped from the land of Ireland back onto the waters of the Atlantic and galloped off across those waves back to the land of Tirnanog. No one ever knows that Oisin managed to stay upon its back and return to that magical place. But the horse was seen galloping on across the waves, and that's why in every man, woman or child's heart here in Ireland, when they gaze out into that Atlantic Ocean and they gaze across that horizon, sometimes they can see a magical horse coming galloping across those waves over to this land of Ireland, coming to take them off to the magical land of Tirnanog.